Transit, what's up, guys? How are y'all? Good? Amazing. Thank you so much for the enthusiasm. I am so excited to be with y'all today, and I'm not just saying that. For real, y'all are the best part of my week, getting to hang out with you guys on Sunday mornings. For those of you that I haven't had the chance to meet yet, one, I'm so sorry. I'm sure you're awesome, and I cannot wait to meet you. Hopefully, once I'm off the stage, we can hang out sometime. But my name is Ashlyn, and I get to work on staff here at Transit, which means that I have the best job in the world. So whenever y'all, are out of school, finish high school, maybe finish college, you should work for Transit someday. But guys, today we are gonna be finishing up our series called Unexpected. For those of y'all that have been here the last few weeks, you'll remember this, but for those of you that haven't, I wanna give you a quick recap on what we've gone over. Basically, we've been telling stories that are actually real life events that happened in the life of Jesus where he did something unexpected. So the first week, we talked about how Jesus literally calmed the storm and how because of that, he walks with you, he stands with you in life's storms. Otherwise known as he walks with you and stands with you in the hard things that you go through in life. And then last week, you guys got to hear from Brett, and we talked about how Jesus' heart breaks when your heart breaks because Jesus cares so much for you and he loves you so much that he's actually willing to step into those emotions with you. And then today, we're going to be talking about one more story that's actually written by one of Jesus' best friends. It's one of his disciples that was one of the closest guys to him, and he writes a story where Jesus also does something unexpected. But before I get to that, I want you guys to go with me on a little journey here, okay? So I need all of you to close your eyes, for real, like every one of you, close your eyes, and think about this with me. Let's take you back to the very first day you stepped into middle school. I know, all of your favorite day for sure. Very first day you stepped into middle school. Now, go back one more day before that. You're, in your bedroom, opening up your closet, envision it with me, and you're thinking, okay, I have to pick out the perfect outfit. That way, when I step into school tomorrow, everyone thinks I'm cool, and, that's just the way it's got to be. So you're thinking about, I wonder what shoes I want to wear. Maybe it's my Air Forces. I want to figure out, what pants, what shirt, maybe a hat. I don't even know if hats are allowed in school, but maybe you're thinking about a hat. Whatever it is, envision it in your mind for me. Now, fast forward to the next day. You walk into school. Step in, you're starting to go down the halls trying to find your locker, and then all of a sudden you look to your right and to your left, and people are kind of maybe making fun of you, they're kind of starting to whisper together, and maybe some of them are laughing, or some of them kind of scan you up and down, and then look away and ignore you. Y'all can open your eyes now. In that moment where you're walking down the hall and you're starting to see that, what are you feeling? Think about it. What are you feeling in that moment? For me, I'm feeling so insecure and I'm feeling so uncomfortable and feeling like I honestly just want to crawl in a hole and I don't want to be there. And it may not even be that those people are actually judging me. I may just be misreading what they're doing and I might just feel like they're judging me. But either way, whether they are or they aren't, we all hate that feeling of being judged or being made fun of or being disapproved of. And maybe for you, you're okay, I don't quite relate with the first day of school idea, I could care less what I'm wearing, I could wear shorts and a t-shirt and some slides and I'm good to go. Maybe that's you, but maybe it's your sports team, whether it's football, basketball, soccer, and you've been working super hard to play and you want playing time, you want to be the star of your team, you're working so hard, but then your coaches or your teammates, maybe they're kind of judging you because you lack a little bit of the ability to do what you want to. Or maybe it's you've been studying so hard for this test that's coming in your class, and you get to test day, you take it, you feel a little iffy about it. Then comes the day in class, when the teacher hands back out the test and you get your grade, and you see it, and your heart just sinks because it's not the grade that you wanted. And then meanwhile, your buddy over here is yo, what'd you get on the test? And you're so scared and embarrassed to tell him because you know that they might judge you or look down on you or disapprove of you because of the grade that you got. Or maybe let me take it a step farther. Maybe it's not how you look or how you perform in something, but maybe there's actually some things right now in life that you've messed up in and you've gotten caught or you're worried about getting caught. Maybe it's that you got caught in a lie with your friend group or you've been gossiping and now there's a bunch of friends that are upset at you and you don't know what to do and you feel trapped and don't know how you're going to keep moving forward and how you're going to mend those friendships. Or maybe it's that you have done something or have been a part of something that your parents really didn't want you to do, and maybe you're scared that they're gonna find out, or maybe they have found out, and you're like, man, like they're gonna be so disappointed in me, and they're so gonna judge me for this, and I'm scared of what's coming. Guys, judging people or being judged ourselves, that's something that we all do. And it's ironic because we hate it when we feel that, yet sometimes we still do it to other people. And then sometimes we even judge ourselves. We're even super hard on ourselves. And the reason why this is the case is because as humans, judgment tends to be natural. Judgment is natural. Judgment is what is expected. So, as we're talking about this story of Jesus and we're talking about him doing the unexpected, I want you guys to see what happens because he doesn't choose judgment in this story. He chooses something else. So let me set the scene for you guys. A few weeks ago, we talked about how Jesus was out teaching a lot of people. This tended to be something that he did all throughout his life here on earth. He always had people coming to him and he was always speaking and teaching them. So he's doing that again. But in this case, there's a group of guys called the Pharisees who, I'll pause here and say, these are guys that honestly were super prideful, super arrogant. They thought they had it all together, had it all figured out. They thought they were the best of the best. And so these guys called the Pharisees, they bring this woman who had been unfaithful to her husband. She had cheated on her husband. She had messed up big time. But they bring this woman right to the front where Jesus is. So imagine this. You guys are in this room. I'm up here on stage right now. Imagine one of your friends bringing you up to the very front here, turning to everyone and basically calling you out for how you've messed up. You'd feel humiliated. You'd feel so embarrassed. You'd feel so exposed. And that's exactly how this woman was feeling in this situation. And to make matters worse, these Pharisees are like, hey, Jesus, like, you know the law. She messed up. She was unfaithful to her husband. She deserves to die. And actually, the way that she deserves to die is she deserves to be stoned. So all these Pharisees have these big stones in their hand, and they're literally ready to kill this woman. But I want you to see what Jesus says. This is what he says in John. So when they kept on questioning him, that being the Pharisees, he straightened up and said to them, let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her. Let any one of you who is without sin. So in that moment, Pharisees, stone raised in hand, they're starting to think to themselves, okay, so what am I going to do in this moment? And John continues on writing. This is what happened. He said that again, he stooped down, this is Jesus, and he wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away one at a time, the older ones first, until Jesus was left, with the woman still standing there. So these Pharisees, they had stones in hand, ready to kill this woman, until Jesus said, wait, only those of you without sin can throw a stone at her. And one by one, they dropped their stone, or they walked away with their stone, and they left the scene. And it was just Jesus left standing with this woman. And guys, Jesus at this point, he's the only one that actually could stone her because he's the only one that has ever lived a life without sin. But this is what he does even though he had every right to stone her. It says that Jesus straightened up and asked her, woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you? Has no one judged you? No one, sir, she said. Then neither do I condemn you. Neither do I judge you, Jesus declared. Guys, in this moment, Jesus had every right to end her life right then and there, but he chose not to. And guys, that act that he did, that is called grace. That is called grace. That is what Jesus did for this woman in this moment. He chose to see her for who she was. He knew what she had done. He was very clearly aware of everything that she had done wrong and how exposed she was in her sin in this moment. But he chose to show grace. And the incredible thing about this, and this is why I love going through all of these stories, is these stories give us a chance to get to know Jesus better. Because this is how Jesus treated this woman. But it's not only how Jesus treated this woman, it's how Jesus treats me and you too. And guys, Jesus always extends grace. He always extends grace, no matter what it is that you've done. Maybe you have messed up big time with your parents and you're worried about how things are going to work out. Jesus extends grace to you in that situation. Maybe it is you've got caught in a lie or gossip or whatever it is at school. Jesus extends grace to you in that situation. Or maybe you cheated on a test, or maybe your cheating somehow in whatever sport it is that you're playing, Jesus extends grace to you in that situation too. Or maybe it's something that you're so embarrassed to even tell anyone, and only you know what it is in your heart. And I want you to know that Jesus extends grace to you there too. And the thing is, he doesn't even just stop there with extending grace. He offers an invitation. And here's what he says. The story continues on. He looks at the woman and says, "Go now and leave your life of sin. Go now and leave your life of sin." And at first, this really does sound like a command. And you're like, oh my goodness, like I have all of these rules that I have to follow with Jesus. But guys, this really is an invitation to something better. He's saying, go and leave your life of sin because I know that this different type of life where you're not trapped in all this sin, you're not trapped in all this shame and all this guilt, that is a better life for you, and I want what's best for you always. So Jesus extends grace to you and offers you the chance to live a life where you're choosing to follow after him, you're choosing to live like him, love like him, show grace like him. And he's saying, this is actually the best thing that could happen to you. Because guys, grace always leads to a new life. Grace always leads to a new life because you have experienced the radical grace of Jesus, and that motivates you to want to live life differently because you know that Jesus has your absolute best interest in mind. But here's the thing, and I want to make a confession to you guys, honestly, is I know all of this. I really do. I know it in my head, but there are still days in life that I find myself either in the position of the woman or the position of the Pharisees. Maybe I'm the woman and I've messed up big time, and I'm humiliated and I'm embarrassed and I don't know what to do with it. Or maybe I'm the Pharisees and I'm looking on at someone else and I'm judging them because I don't agree with what they're doing. Or maybe, honestly, I'm looking at myself and I'm judging myself too hard because I don't agree with what I'm doing. No matter where you fall on that spectrum, Jesus chooses to extend grace to you guys. And that's what I want you to walk away with. If anything, I want you guys to be able to feel the freedom to open up in your small group today when you guys meet and talk about this, whether you feel like the woman, whether you feel like the Pharisees, or somewhere in between. I want you to be willing to talk about what is actually going on in your hearts and in your minds, and what you're battling with and what you're struggling with, full well knowing that both your small group and your small group leaders are going to be a safe place for you. They're going to listen to you. They're going to show grace to you, just like Jesus shows grace to you each and every day. So as you're going to small group today, I want you guys to think about this question. Why is it so easy to get caught up in judging others when the group is doing it? Why is it so easy to get caught up in judging others when the rest of the people around you are doing it? Let me pray for us. Jesus, I thank you so much for this day. I thank you so much for bringing each of these students to Transit this morning. It truly is the best thing to get to hang out with them and to get to build friendships with them and to get to learn with them and grow closer to you. I ask that you would be with them in small group today and that you would give them the courage to open up and to share and talk about what's really going on in life. I thank you that you are a loving God and that you are a good God and that you are a God who always extends grace to us no matter how many times we mess up. We love you and we are so thankful for you. In your name I pray, amen.